So, in your most recent lesson, you'll have talked about fungi and protists in terms of disease-causing organisms. So, what do you need to know? What are the key points? Well, if we start with fungi, they are eukaryotic. So that means they contain a nucleus within their membrane. They cannot photosynthesize as an organism. It's important to know. They can be single-celled. So, for example, you might have yeast, which is single-celled. They reproduce by producing spores. And you can get fungal infections in both plants and animals. So you might have ones such as thrush and athlete's foot in animals, both thoroughly unpleasant if you've ever had them. And then common fungal disease that affects plants is shown here. Rose black spot. So that is plants only, which, as you can see, plants develop purple or black spots on the leaves, and then they turn yellow and drop off and die. And so if you have less leaves, what does that mean? Equals less photosynthesis. And it's primarily spread by water and wind. And your main treatment is using either fungicides and removing infected leaves. Whereas protists are diverse collections of organisms. While exceptions exist, they're mainly microscopic and unicellular. Never met a unicellular organism that's not microscopic, but hey, can stand to be corrected. They are very organised in terms of cells, and they contain nucleus and specific cell components, and some of them are parasites, so they live off other organisms, and most protists are transferred by a vector. So it's another organism that doesn't get the disease. So one of the main examples you will need to know about is malaria. Now, malaria is carried by mosquitoes. So mosquitoes are the vector. And when a mosquito bites a human, it injects the protist into the human, where it replicates and causes an immune response. And symptoms can be primarily fever, but it can cause death as well, especially in underdeveloped countries. And it's often spread by standing water sources where mosquitoes breed. So that's everything you need to know on fungi and protists.